I remember he was getting these $2,000 a day fines because they've got actuaries in Austin where they only hit old people, I've noticed. And because I was doing these stories myself, and they didn't have cable, but they heard from the neighbor about my story. And my grandfather's like in a little blue-collar area of South Austin. My grandmother still lives there. He goes, my mom's dad, he goes, Alex, I'm getting these $2,000 a day fines. They say I've got to clean out the creek. But he goes, here's my property line. And the city is, and of course, he was smart and informed, unlike most people who they prey on. He goes, can you do something about this, or do I go to the city council? Because that's not my property. That's a drainage ditch off the road, and I'm not supposed to keep that clear. The city is. And I said, well, I'll do something about it. And but I left that day. It was a Sunday. I used to go over there and eat Sunday evenings, eat dinner with my grandparents, and I watched 60 Minutes with him. And a few days later, I go, yeah, I'm going to just hire a company to come do it. It's quicker than fighting the city. And she's like, my grandmother's like, oh, he's already been out there all day. You know, he's like 70-something years old, a little bit overweight and stuff. He's been out there all day cleaning out all the brush and stuff that had gotten in there that the code enforcers were telling him he had to clean that wasn't even his brush. And then a couple of days later, he had a heart attack, and I think that's part of it. Probably broke some, plaque loose and did that. But that's how they operate, and that's what they do. And I saw him giving people $2,000 a day fines for 3-inch grass. And it was always when somebody wanted their property, we'd find. It was always cancer patients, people like that. So I just went and showed the city council people with 3-foot grass in the city and demanded they have criminal charges on them. I was actually told that by a police officer. The police started giving me all the data on the city council people who had code violations because they didn't like going. Oh, because that was the thing. They were ordered with Rolling Ellingson to go arrest him because he hadn't paid the fines. Anyway, side issue. Anything else, McBrain?
No, and like I said, Alex, it's just very tragic, and we're left here with more questions than we even began with. There's some very shady dealings in the background going on with the foreclosure. We're going to look more into that. Very suspicious, things going on there. So we're trying to talk to his attorney who was helping him with try to fight the foreclosure. So maybe we'll have an update on you on that.
Darren, I was thinking
later this afternoon.
Thank you, Darren. I was thinking earlier that maybe it was a smaller town. It was like a little city council that maybe they close sometimes. That looks like the Tennessee Capitol or something. This must be a really big town, and with giant steps leading up to it. And they were telling you couldn't go in that public mausoleum.
Well, it's what is it? 40-minute drive from Atlanta, but there's. You really can't tell. I mean, it seems like a big town to me. So, but well, I
mean, that looks like a bigger city council than Austin has. It's a gigantic building.
It's pretty big. Yeah.
Hey, can you have
building?
Can you have Marcos pan and show people a bigger shot of it who are watching?
All right, we're going to pan to City Hall.
Hey, great job, Darren and Marcos. We'll get more reports from you this evening and back next week. And it's an important case of government run wild, and it is Agenda 21. It was designated to be an environmental zone, and well, he's dead now, so I guess they're going to get their property. And so there is that report. I'm going to come back and go to Jenny and jam in a call from Thomas and others. We'll do a little bit of overdrive to make sure I at least get to the 5 newest calls or oldest calls. Russell, Thomas, Jenny, John, Marie. We'll get to all of you after this quick break. But look, it is the American system to dislike big government and mistrust it. The minute you start loving big government, you're going to live in North Korea. I mean, it's that simple. And by the way, we were interrupting each other because the Skype's delayed by about a second. And so it was, but still incredible technology on the ground with an iPhone and a microphone communicating to us from thousands of miles away. Incredible. And that's InfoWars News. Stay with us. I really can't get over the fact that HBO is now having pedophilia on television like it's cute. That report is at Infowars.com. Kurt Nemo's got one coming out dealing with the fact that torture has been legalized in the United States just under a new name. So watch Infowars.com for that to come out in the next hour or so, and tying it into the proliferation of this. Right now, let's go back to your phone calls. Jenny in New York, welcome.
Hello, Alex.
Hi.
I have personally known about the establishment since I was 7 years old because they used to test on me with their drugs, and I actually was compliant about it until 2003 when I wanted to fight back because the state of New York wanted to take my son away from me because of my mental illness. So I filed a petition in my county court, and my ex-husband's wife counter-petitioned me and ended up winning with a power of attorney, and she signed his name, my ex-husband's name, so neither me or my ex-husband ever signed the adoption paperwork. So the adoption's only signed by her.
Yeah, well, there's all sorts of stuff out there like that. That doesn't sound like that's legal or lawful. Thank you so much for the call. Another terrible story there as society degenerates and disintegrates, and it really is. Everybody knows that's the case. We need to repent and turn from our wicked ways, myself included. And even if you're not a Christian, I just mean we've got to recognize good from evil. I mean, come on. Thomas in Kansas, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, Alex. What's going on, man?
Worldwide transmission.
Long-time listener. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
I was actually at work yesterday, and I picked up the Kansas City Star, and there was, on the front page, actually, was an article on how the Department of Justice is suing Apple for, I don't know, conspiring with publishers for making their ebooks higher price. What is illegal about that?
Well, that's what they always do. I did see the Justice Department. That's like having Beelzebub go after a smaller demon. I did see where they're going after Apple for trying to work with distributors to have a higher price. Amazon, you know, basically acts like Walmart and drives down the price, which actually just destroys publishers and smaller companies and makes them huge profits. It's all part of monopolies. I'm no fan of Apple and its overall business practices, but I don't think that's illegal. But I'm not an antitrust expert, but in general terms, they're always going after some little petty thing to act like they're doing something while ignoring the larger big crimes.
Well, the interesting thing is you know, it was headed up by Eric Holder, and it's just amazing to me that he would, just like you say, do something petty like this, which isn't petty for Apple, but, you know, this is what creates, like, the lobbying for, you know, corporations to just throw a bunch of money at government to get them to leave them alone.
Sure, but refreshing my memory, I think it was Apple and Kindle being sued for working together to drive down the price. You're saying it was to drive up the price?
Well, here's what the article said. The article basically said that, okay, the Department of Justice was accusing Apple and the publishers of conspiring together of driving up the price of ebooks because publishers wanted more money from ebooks. And so they were going to drop their ebooks for Amazon and just go with Apple.
Yeah, that makes sense. I scanned over the article, and it's not that important to me in the larger scheme because it's like polishing, well, polishing a you-know-what. In the final equation, it really doesn't matter. I mean, the Justice Department is a joke. And it only puts on appearances that it's trying to stop crime and things like that. Okay, another hour coming up straight ahead. Stay with us. Don't forget, I'll be back this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. I'm Alex Jones, your host, on this Friday the 13th transmission. Let's go to Russell in Texas, then John and Marie. Russell, you're on the air.
How you doing, Alex?
Good.
Okay, Alex, I'm going to cover some topics here. First of all, I'm just going to say Tangy Tangerine is a winner. You're absolutely right. Now, I'm going to cover Jim Humble, MMS, Tom Leppert, the mayor of Dallas who's running for Senate, and NASA, relatives being, getting into the TSA as part of their job, and then the Texas militia. All right. Have you heard of Jim Humble, who created a multi-miracle supplement?
No.
Okay. You need to look that up on the internet. You can do a search on MMS.
I understand, but you won't get to all your points if you don't move quick. Go to the next point.
I'm going to move real quick here. Multi-miracle supplement kills all viruses and bacteria in your body. It's been used for a long time. It's a surveyor that was prospecting for cold. 2 guys are about ready to die from malaria, and he discovered this from water pills. Look it up. It kills all viruses in your body.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate it. We just don't have time to get to the other points now. Let's go ahead and talk to John in Texas. John, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
This is John here in Austin, Texas. Nice to talk to you after listening to you for so many years. I'm not selling you anything today. I want to let you know that I heard something the other day through an APD police officer about the Walmart shooting of the cop, that Walmart has a policy about their employees not putting hands on any customers, and the 2 people who wrestled the guy to the ground are apparently being fired from Walmart.
You're kidding.
This is what I understand. I work in a convenience store, and I got this bit of conversation from the cashier talking to a police officer who came in the store, and he was not pleased about it. Apparently, Walmart has issued, I guess, the opposite of a press release to the police department, I guess a press unrelease, telling them not to talk about it. I figured I'd tell you because you got a crew of reporters, and you might know a guy on the inside of the police department to get to the bottom of it. I'm blown away by it.
I tell you what, we don't ever really use this anymore because so many thousands of people called it, and a lot of it wasn't serious. But what would happen is some crazy people would leave like 500 messages a day. Do we still check that comment line, guys? Okay, this comment line is only for police officers to call and to confirm or deny what that gentleman's saying. But it's part of the nanny state where kids can't play dodgeball, where you can't run at school, where you can't spank your kids. So the whole society degenerates. If it's true, because they're trying to train the public not to help each other or anybody else, that Walmart is going to fire the 2 employees that tackled the guy that had the gun. That's because they don't want any liability. They'd rather everybody just get killed and say, well, we have nothing to do with it. Just amazing. Because I know that is their policy. They say don't defend yourself. It's like in school. They say let a bully beat you up. I mean,
they will toot their own horn by patting themselves in the back because they gave the officer's family $50,000. But they apparently are putting the 2 employees are on.
That's another point. Instead of shutting the whole city down for a 5-hour parade down I-35 and the rest of it, why didn't they just give the money of the tens of thousands of dollars that cost, or a lot more, to the family? I mean, why make this giant spectacle? I mean, and they just get bigger and bigger every time stuff happens. I'll have to look into that. Here's the comment line. 512-646-4444. But if you're in Austin, obviously, no, 512-646-4444, 646-4444. And I'll also bring that up Sunday because that's important. So he told you matter-of-factly, not that he heard it, but that it was definitely a fact that they were talking about firing those employees.
And then here's the kicker. She used to work at Walmart, and she said that that's their policy, that you can't, because, you know, Walmart doesn't prosecute people for stealing less than $25 or $50 worth of merchandise. So they have this policy where you can't grab somebody, apparently. Anyhow.
No, I'm just dumbfounded about what you're saying. And I was thinking about, but it's okay for them to own slave camps with little kids making the products. Well, you know, all the products now they find have blood on them. And the little bitty fingers.